new skipper, hooker Max Krilich. Well, while Country can't expect to win, their selectors have really demonstrated that they've got absolutely nothing to lose. Not one member of this side played for Country first last year, and what they lack in experience, they'll make up for in youth, fitness and keenness. Lithgow centre Jeff Pensini, 5/8 Mark Harrigan, second rowers Goodwin and Brooks, and former Queensland prop Willie Tarry will be the players to watch. Country haven't beaten Sydney since 1975 when they caused that 19-9 upset. Since then, they've suffered 6 successive defeats, including last year's 38-7 loss in Canberra, in which Sydney ran in 8 tries. But whatever the result today, players on both sides realise the importance of giving of their best. The Sydney boys to consolidate a place in the New South Wales and Australian teams, and the Country players to possibly earn themselves a lucrative contract with the City club in the future. Our referee today, Jack Danzy. So Country winning the toss, and Cronin kicks off for Sydney. And Sydney running from right to left, and the ball put down, right down near the goal line, and Country going to bring it out. Fullback Greg Guider. Dummy half is Alexander. Now these are the two men expected to do most of the work for Country in the opening stages. Going to be the two props, Willie Tarry and Greg Heddles. That's Heddles.
I think they've got to get involved early to settle the play down. And Country would be wise to just take their time. And having played in these matches, I know that there's a lot of tension and a lot of feeling.
To the ground, it was fullback Guider who finished the tackle. Hilditch, and that's how it should be done. Going low, looked to be Goodwin. Sterling, Patterson, trailed through by Walker, using an overlap. Muggleton, beautiful pass. Fullback Brendel going for the line will score the first try of the match.
Quick hands, and again through the half and 5/8. It's good stuff indeed. Muggleton, a fine pass you'll see from here. Brentnell's there. He's got support outside in Rogers, but he doesn't need Rogers and scores himself.
And from head on, you'll see that Patterson unloads there, and as Brentnell gets the ball here from Muggleton, he gets inside that tackle of Payton's. Payton comes after him, but he misses the tackle of Gibbs. Here's Cronin's attempted conversion, which is straight on target, and so Sydney go to a lead now of 5 points to 0, and that comes up after about 13 minutes of play. Now halfback Bob Payton puts the ball into play for Country, a high kick. Didn't quite allow his forwards to get up under it in time, and Bowstead is put to ground by hooker Alexander. Jack Patterson next to the scrum base. Price, Hilditch, standing flat-footed. Sterling, Muggleton. He's away, he'll score himself. And the Country skipper, Terry Donnelly, is absolutely disgusted with himself for missing that tackle. Muggleton getting out of Donnelly's tackle, and he was able to race over and score. The second try to Sydney, 8-0 the score.
Yes, well, it's a simple matter of defence. They've got to tackle, and of course Donnelly's gone far too high, and Muggleton's just gone straight through to score an easy try.
And from head on, you'll see how Donnelly anticipated. He moved up well, but then he should never have allowed Muggleton to get through his grasp and score by diving over. Payton puts the ball back in play, with Cronin having missed the conversion attempt. 8-0 is the score in favour of Sydney. Peter Sterling is midway between his own quarter line and the halfway line. Dummy half is Muggleton. Cronin through the gap. Nice tackle there, but from second rower Goodwin. Muggleton. It's Patterson. Krilich to direct operations. Sterling. That's a neat little run by the halfback. Lovely pass. Greg Brendel. In fact, he has touched down. Brendel got up and wanted to run around behind the posts. Referee Dangy said no, he'd already grounded it in goal. 3 tries now. Here it is.
I think this shows Peter Sterling's class, and he gets through there. The defence, a hard man to tackle, probably could have scored himself, but Brendel right on the spot.
Well, interesting from head on to see whether in fact Brendel did touch that down. He had his arm under the ball, and Brendel takes the pass, hits the ground, and in fact doesn't look as though he's grounded the ball. Cronin to take Sydney further in front with this kick, which just scrapes over the right hand upright, and that's the score. with about 9 minutes to go before half-time. Brendel running up to half-time, and Sydney looking for a further try. Price caught by Goodwin. Krilic playing it forward, he's through. This is a try to Ray Price, and that's inexperience. The experience of Ray Price showing up the inexperience of the countryside.
Because that ball can be played forward, as Ray Price realises, and scores a very intelligent try.
Yes, as a matter of fact, in the ball can be played in any direction, and Ray Price preferred to tow it forward, straight between the legs of Greg Heddles, and he was in for his try. That try coming up about 6 minutes before the break, and McCronin to take the score to 18-0. Pushed that one away to the left, but he got it through. So 4 tries now to Sydney. Brendel, the fullback, has scored 2, and the others touched down by second rower Muggleton and lock forward Price. Cronin's converted 3 of them, and that gives Sydney the lead of 18-0. Talk about a nice dummy. You won't see better than that, and a lovely pass. Walker, where's the support? It's in Patterson. Patterson looks inside. Rebo, the ball was knocked forward backwards by Country, and that's going to be Ray Price's second try. Now, that might have looked like a knock on to Sydney, but in fact it had been knocked backwards by Country, and the whistle didn't blow. Referee Danzy played the advantage, and Ray Price, realising that, picked it up. Here it is.
And Sterling's throwing that brilliant dummy, and he weaves his way right round through, and he's got Hilditch in support out wide, and then immediately unloads the ball onto Walker. Patterson joins into this, and this is where this fine bit of defensive work, it actually comes off the Country player. Price is there to pick the ball up, and you'll notice that he does hesitate and looks around, but it's a try.
Well, surely after Sterling had broken the defence, John Rebo must have thought, well, here it comes. As he came up on the left flank, out of the screen on the right, Hilditch got it inside to Walker, Walker to Patterson, and now Rebo anticipating his try here, but it came off the tackler. That was Philip Duke. Ray Price snaps it up and right under the posts. McCronin makes it 23-0. And it looks like Mick Patterson receiving attention from the Sydney trainer. Alf Richards showing a fair bit of concern for him, and the way he's got his arm strapped, it would indicate a collarbone perhaps. And that's bad luck for Mick Patterson. Payton's restart. So coming up to half-time, score 23-0, and 5 tries to none. Sydney have scored.
Yes, and it looks like Sydney are getting right into their game, and Country are going to have to maintain that straight line. If they get a little bit over-anxious and they move up and they create that gap, then the Sydney players will find it. And we see now the ball going across the back line, and that's the type of football I expect we're going to see in the second half.
Brendel getting it out on the far side, and that's another try. Mick Cronin this time touching down. Sydney really starting to take control of this game now. Once again, the damaging player was Greg Brendel, and chiming in to make the extra man on the far side gave the defence no chance. Here it is.
Yes, in Country they're desperate there. Brendel getting into it, and you can see that by keeping this ball alive, Brendel again, he handles twice, gives the final pass to Cronin, and he goes in for an outstanding team try.
And from right back on his own quarter, or almost on halfway in fact, Brendel chimes in, out to Bowstead, realises he can't beat the cover, finds Brendel inside again. Brendel's pass to Cronin, who was unmarked, and Mick Cronin an easy training run to cross over and score wide out. The one hardly went in. Loose arm in the scrum against Alexander. Only 2 scrums have been decided to date in the second half. Sydney have won both, and they are in fact in front in the scrums now by 9-6. Back to Krilic. Out wide was Walker. Krilic, Sterling, Brendel.
Sterling, Rogers. He was set upon by Pensini. Cronin. Open side is Coveney. Now to Sterling. Long pass from Thompson found Brentnell. Brentnell's through again and gives it to Boasted, who dives over. Hit the corner post, but he had grounded the ball. And here again, the example of Greg Brentnell coming in from fullback.
And his timing is excellent. He's picking that gap all the way along, and it's a fine pass there to cut out the man. But Brentnell there throws the dummy, is tackled, but gives it to Boasted, who goes in for the try.
And you'll see how Brentnell delayed his passes. He got it here from Thompson and then just dummied once, caught the winger on the wrong foot, and Boasted scored. It's Rebo.
Very interesting to note the crowd here, and a very happy announcer has announced that it looks like it is a record crowd here of somewhere around 22,600 people. So that certainly shows the wisdom of having the City Country game here in Newcastle.
And in the change made in the countryside, winger Jim Palmer has left the field. Greg Guider has switched from fullback to the left wing, and John Maguire, who comes from Bateman's Bay, has gone on as fullback in number 14. This is Ron Hilditch giving it to Coveney. Or it's Alan. It's at Coveney. Showed a fair bit of pace through the ruck there. There's going to be a scrum on halfway almost. The country football now becoming quite full of errors, and Sydney are capitalising. They've got possession. Muggleton trailed through by Cronin. A beautiful pass to the centre. Cronin's got Rogers coming up inside. Stevie Rogers won't get away from the winger. Both wingers coming after him. Guider cuts him down, but he's over. Greg Guider showing good pace to get across. Steve Rogers sustained his pace well and scored, but look at this good pass.
Fine pass from Muggleton, and Cronin straight through, looks for his centre partner, and he's beautifully positioned. Rogers receives the pass. Guider, Duke chasing him, hit him on the line, but a great try.
And from head on you'll see the effects of this good pass from Muggleton. He makes the break. Now watch the way he unloads here to Cronin. Cronin draws the fullback, sees Rogers inside, times his pass beautifully. Rogers will be caught, but he's got sufficient pace to reach the line first. Looks like another shoulder injury. This time Steve Rogers. That's a better kick from Cronin, right on target that time. A pretty handy lead now for Sydney. Keeps it going through Lamb and away to Walker. Bruce Walker not held. Up to halfway. That's a good break by the second rower. Country defence is stretched now. One tackle to go. Sterling, Krilich, out to Muggleton. Good pace to Mortimer. Mortimer looking for his winger. The ball was knocked down. Brentnell's picked it up. Brentnell, another flick pass. Beautiful hands. Here's Rebo from the left wing. Rebo's streaking away down the right flank, getting the pass off the right winger and scores. Good work, John Rebo. Hasn't had the opportunities on the left wing, so he went looking for them and made his own try there. But it started again with that man, Greg Brentnell, getting that flick pass away.
Yes, well, Peter Mortimer losing it here, but beautifully picked up by Brentnell, and that fine flick pass, quick hands onto Rebo, and there's no country defence there whatsoever. Rebo going over for a very simple try.
Well, Greg Brentnell handled twice in that movement as it went right across the back line. And there's Muggleton unloading it to Mortimer. Mortimer had the pass drop down. Brentnell scooped it up. Flick pass out of Boasted, inside to Rebo, and Rebo got away from the despairing dive of Matt Goodwin and has raced over for his first try of the match. Cronin's attempted conversion is straight on target. Another 2 points to Sydney. Racing away to a gigantic lead now. Kick goes down to Brentnell. Sydney's sensing another try here. Sterling, Lamb, little kick through, chased in through by Mortimer. And that was a knock onto both sides.
Another replacement in the Sydney side, Ron Hilditch is on. Craig Young is on, number 24 Young.
That was a good clean rake by Hilditch. Sterling straight through, as easy as you please. Just one little dummy, a quick little flick of the ankles, accelerated off the mark and went straight through without a hand being put on him. Try number 10 for Sydney, Peter Sterling the scorer.
Yes, there's a lot of holes in this country defence now. Sterling just stepping off that left foot straight through. There's nobody there to challenge him, and he goes for an easy try.
After the ball was raked back so far behind the scrum, Sterling did well to get back and get it. A little dummy that sent Payton the wrong way, and he was through like a shot. Not a bad kick from Cronin. Just swung inside the left-hand upright, able to get 2 more points. The big question is now, can Sydney top the half-century? So Sterling showing his pace, floating it out to Boasted, fullbacks across, Boasted in, good try. That's a fine try to Kerry Boasted, his second. Try number 11 to Sydney, 47-0 the score, 16 minutes to go, here it is.
Yes, and again, this fellow Muggleton having an outstanding game, but the beauty of this try again is that by keeping it alive, and Sterling did very well to anticipate that then. And watch his final pass. He draws that defence in, taken beautifully by Boasted, straight for that corner post, a fine try.
Probably put that down in exactly the same spot where he scored his try earlier. But it was good work from Sterling. Muggleton split the defence with this effort. His pass went astray, but Sterling did well, and watch him accelerate again. Went through the tackle of Matthews, and as he floated the pass out, it was beautifully taken by Boasted. That's not easy to catch a ball like that, touching down. High kick-off put downfield. John Muggleton to play it. Injury reports from the dressing rooms. We've seen shoulder injuries sustained by 2 of the country players. One was Jim Palmer. Young's pass, long one, right out over the top, intercepted. Here's Guider. The defence is after him. Brendan on Guider. Guider's going to race away and score. An intercept try. Greg Guider crosses the line for country in the last minute of the game. And the crowd delirious.
Here it is. It's a very popular try, that one. A long floating pass by Cronin, and Guider's well and truly there. He's been chased by Walker. Boasted trying desperately to get to him, bumps into Walker, but that's a fine try and a very popular one here.
Guider moving up in defence as that long pass was thrown by Cronin. He was able to take it away from Brendel. Took a little bit of time to get going. Walker gave chase but didn't have the pace, and Guider, realising he was going to score, you watch him as he goes over. Loves the effort here. So the crowd has invaded the field, anticipating that it is full time. Cronin is going to have the, I beg your pardon, Brooks is going to have the kick for goal. Becomes so automatic to call Cronin as the goal kicker. We've seen him have 11 shots at goal. This is David Brooks first. Try scorer was Greg Guider from Tamworth City, and here's Tamworth City RSL clubmate David Brooks to attempt a conversion. So Brooks from wide out. Looks good. Swinging away from the posts. No goal. There it is, referee Jack Danzy ending the game, and Sydney have run out convincing winners, their 7th win in a row over country, 47-3, scoring 11 tries.
And the only way to sum up the result, Sydney too strong, too fit and too classy in scoring 11 tries to 1. Brentnell, Price and Boasted each got 2, 1 each to Muggleton, Cronin, Rogers, Rebo and Sterling, and Mick Cronin kicked 7 goals from 11 attempts. The only points for country, that last-minute try scored by Greg Guider. Max Krilich was held level at 6-all in the scrums at half-time. He won the second half scrums 6-3 to give himself the advantage of 12-9. Penalties favoured country by 12-7. Well, what can you say about a turning point in the game? Sydney just far too good. But there were 12 good tries scored in the match. Reg, which was your best?
Alan, there were some great tries there. Of the 12 tries scored in the game, I thought that Mick Cronin's try just prior to half-time enabled Sydney to lead 26 points to 0. And it was typical of the Sydney type of play of moving the ball across the back line, and Greg Brentnell, as he's been doing all day, up in the attack. In fact, he handled twice during this movement, as Kerry Bowstead there to Brentnell, onto Mick Cronin, and it's classic football and typical of the way Sydney scored some of their tries. A fine try to Mick Cronin.
Well, one of many great Sydney tries, but undoubtedly the man of the match was Sydney fullback Greg Brentnell. One of the most dominating displays seen by a fullback for some time. He continually lived in the back line and really had nothing to do in defence at all because of the dominance of the Sydney side, and he must surely have consolidated his position as Australia's #1 fullback.
A disappointing result then as far as country were concerned. They trailed 26-0 at half-time before this ground record attendance of 22,000. In the end though, Sydney far too good, running out winners by 47 points to 3.